Hey, what's up folks? How's it going? This is Watch. Hope you guys are all doing well. And in this video, we're going to be taking a gaming PC that costs around $500, featuring the AMD 880K CPU and an RX 480 GPU from XFX, and compare it directly against the graphical performance of the PlayStation 4 Pro. So we're going to be taking a look at the same gaming titles and really determining whether a budget-oriented gaming PC can compete against what the PS4 Pro has to offer, specifically when it comes to gaming performance and overall experience. So if you're interested in seeing which one's the better gaming platform, let's find out. Just to go over the specifications, we're using the AMD 880K quad-core CPU, which is a relatively new processor. It is overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz. Its stock setting is around 4 to 4.2 gigahertz. And with the new AMD silent cooler that's included with the processor, you shouldn't have any problems with long-term stability and high temperatures at full gaming load. Now, the graphics card that we're using is the XFX RX 480 RS edition. Now, one of the biggest problems with using a standard reference RX 480 is that the cooling performance is not that good. Thankfully, with this XFX aftermarket cooler, you have a dual 120mm fans that are actually hot swappable. You can insert different fans for different lighting effects, which is really darn cool, something that's not available in many other graphics cards. And with the increased surface area for the heatsink and the dual fans, you're going to get awesome overall thermal performance, especially if you're going to dabble in some GPU overclocking. Now, looking at the side-by-side specification comparison between our built PC and the PS4 Pro, you can see in terms of peak graphical performance and capabilities, with our RX 480, we're able to push out up to 5.8 teraflops versus the PS4 Pro is rated for about 4.2 teraflops. Both have 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 video memory, and our PC has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory versus the PS4 hovers around 1 gigabyte in that regard. And of course, when building a PC, everything's going to be dependent upon your budget and your specific needs. I wanted to make sure that we had a really powerful graphics card and to keep all the other parts as economical as possible. So I only have a 500 gigabyte hard drive in there versus the PlayStation 4 Pro comes with a 1 terabyte. You can obviously get a larger hard drive or add in more hard drives later on. The total cost for this specific system with the motherboard and everything included was around $541 based on the specific parts that I got. Now, obviously, pricing will fluctuate depending on when you're getting these parts and where you're getting it from. I bought everything off Amazon, and I'll have links in the description down below for detailed links for all the products. But the PlayStation 4 Pro is obviously still going to be a lot cheaper at just under $400, but keep in mind you can save another $100 or $150 by substituting an RX 470, which is roughly about the same graphical equivalence as the PS4 Pro. But now, just to give you guys a little sample of what this PC is capable of, looking at the TimeSpy DirectX 12 benchmark by 3D Mark, you can see that we're hovering around 3,600 points, which is fairly reasonable. Now, obviously, if you have a faster processor, you'll probably get around 15% better performance. But if we take a look at the actual real difference between what a PlayStation 4 Pro can do compared to a PC featuring, let's say, an RX 480, is going to be overall frame rate consistencies at higher resolution, as well as more detail and control over your gaming experience. Obviously, with the PC, you can control the amount of detail, the amount of anti-aliasing, and a whole bunch of other facets that dictate your visual experience on any given gaming title. Now, with the PS4 Pro playing at 1080p resolutions, you are going to get faster overall playable frame rates, more detail and sharpness in most of the gaming titles that are enhanced for the PlayStation 4 Pro, especially compared to the standard PS4. But when you actually are outputting 4K resolution, most of the gaming titles, depending upon how they're rendered, are going to be actually rendering out Quad HD native resolution. And then with the PlayStation 4, typically does is scale that rendered image into a 3840 by 2160 frame to make it optimized for most 4K displays out there. Now, when using a gaming PC, you can actually render out one-to-one native resolution 4K or Quad HD or 1080p, and you know that you are getting that resolution, and there's no scaling whatsoever involved. Thus, you're not going to get any possible artifacts or blocking that you can occasionally experience using the PlayStation 4 Pro on a 4K display. That being said, the PlayStation 4 Pro is definitely worth it on a 1080p screen, especially compared to the standard PlayStation. We actually have a dedicated video on kind of telling the difference between what the PlayStation 4 Pro offers compared to the standard PS4. So definitely check out that video if you haven't already. You'll find it in the description down below. Now, in terms of the actual gaming benchmark results of this gaming PC, I've made a little graph right over here discussing the performance results of pretty high detail settings at 3 different resolution, 1080p, Quad HD, and full 4K. Now, this isn't really a PC designed and optimized for 4K resolution because it's still a lot of pixels to render out for even the RX 480, and you can turn down the details if you want to play 4K, but this is really a very fast PC for 1080p gaming and for 2560 by 1440p gaming. This is really what it's optimized for, and that's pretty much what the PlayStation 4 Pro renders out, but you're going to get higher overall details and higher overall playable frame rates because the graphics card is certainly much more powerful than even what the PS4 Pro has to offer. So if you do want a little bit more time looking at these results, go ahead and pause the video, but this hopefully gives you an idea of what this PC is capable of. Now, we do also have a full build guide on how we created this PC for this comparison video, so definitely check out that video if you haven't already. You'll find that in the description down below, or you can click the card above to go to that video. And really, other than that, that's really it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you later. Take care.